beside the National Commission had made his opening statement on the very same meeting on the 5th, where he mentioned that when we are trying to deal with the bad ones at crime intelligence, those that are so used to benefit illegally within the resources of the state at crime intelligence, and the only way to counter the action that the management is taking against them is to invite the media and invite the so-called whistleblowers, invite the people that are very vocal and have got a lot of followers out there, including some journalists, to start spreading lies. And unfortunately, the lies that have been spread, the members that's supposed to pause and investigate, they don't do that, they believe it. And when they believe it, it then damages the institution as a whole. So I wanted to indicate that, Honorable Chair and honorable members, that we have experienced this in 2011, and it's happening again now. We should ask ourselves a question as to why is it happening? Something must be done. For my response then to be addressed in a manner that the minister responded by simply say, I'm no associate to the person that Mkhwanazi is referring to. And it ends there. It was rather disappointing. Because I'm presenting evidence that says, here is a man who talks about police secret things. He sends me WhatsApp. In his WhatsApp, he attaches presentations of crime intelligence. And he tells me about general Khans that are in meetings, that I must ask them for further details of presentations. And then you ask yourself, but we have general Khans in crime intelligence that are part of meetings. Why a person is not in the police has that information? It simply says, someone in the meeting is sharing this information to a person outside the meeting. So it was a worry. So that's what I can summarize here, that in short, bringing this thing to the attention of the portfolio committee was to trigger an action that, although it was not in presentation form, on black and white, submitted to the portfolio committee, but it was to trigger the further interrogation of these allegations that I'm making. But I must say, maybe it happened, I don't know. I was never invited after that to date until, well, the 6th of July. I must say, Honorable Chair and members, I'm glad we did that on the 6th of July because we were invited here now to elaborate more on this, which I thought we would have done it on the 5th of March.
So in paragraph 51.1.
I forgot, I apologize for it. That she took an oath. That oath has got an expiry date according to her. That this one is valid only for the period when the Joint Standing Committee exists. When a Joint Standing Committee doesn't exist, that oath that she took, it expires. The honorable member that forget that she took an oath before South Africans in Parliament not to divulge the secret of government. And she forgot about the oath. I apologize for that she forgot that oath. And she asked the questions in February and the likes. But I must also apologize that the honorable member forgot that in April, May this year, she took an oath as a member of the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. But she still comes to the Portfolio Committee of Police and asks questions about the secret fund account. 3 questions that the police had to respond to her and say, sorry, ma'am, this does not belong here. The chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Police knows that because I did share with him. This I shared because she denied the initial statement. Then I wanted to prove that it didn't only end there. I only made reference to some few things, not all. So there are many examples, Honorable Chair and members, that one can put, but amongst these recommendations that are put in here, one of them that maybe I didn't write is really to interrogate whether is it necessary for crime intelligence to account in an open committee? Perhaps that's where the problem comes from. Because state security don't hear much about this. Not to say things are hunky-dory that side. Defense intelligence don't hear anything about this. But crime intelligence always in the middle. Why? It's because you have a portfolio committee of police that holds them accountable. So perhaps the budget must just be moved covertly, all of it, so that it goes to one committee, joint standing committee, being handled there. Whether good or bad, but it is regarded as a COVID fund completely. So that is one of the addition if you were to include Honorable Chair and Honorable members on these recommendations. But maybe to narrate on some of those that are here, Honorable Chair and members, I had requested on the first one that the South African Police Service senior management, and I hope the honorable members know where the senior managers in the police start from, is brigadiers and higher. Once you become a brigadier and higher, at least there must be a lifestyle audit that is conducted to all of us. And it must not be a once-off thing. And it must not be done by the police. The committee might want to find an independent entity to do that, and the report be given to a chairperson of the portfolio committee on police, and then it can be elevated to parliament. But basically, the employment condition of a police officer needs to be conditional. It cannot be just a permanent thing. You come in, you work until you retire at 60, whether you are delivering or not delivering, whether you are rogue or not rogue, you just enjoy your salary every single day. We have to review that. So lifestyle audit is what I'm calling for. We all must be subjected to that, so that you get to understand, where does Mkhwanazi get the money to buy the suit? Can he afford it? And many other things that we have as police management. And I'll also request that perhaps the committee, ad hoc committee through Parliament, really look at the vetting process or the employment condition in the police, because I don't know if honorable members knows the levels of vetting. You have confidential things, you have secret things, you have top secret, and those different levels. It is a given thing to say everyone must be given a top secret, and I don't think it's classified. What is it that this country regards as a top secret? And therefore, who must have access to it? Because the moment you regard something as a top secret, it means it's something that if you reveal that to the public, it's got a potential of undermining the security of the state. It must be highest level of order that you can get, top secret. So it can't be everyone that gets it. When you come and look at the police, how many people that were expected to get top secret, some of them you really ask yourself a question, is it necessary? Does this person really have to get into the top secret? There's no classification, categorization of this a post level, a post that the person is occupying, and what type of classification must be there. So I think there's a standard that needs to be set. And this vetting to be done prior to the employment of a person. Honorable Chair and members, I like what SIU is doing. They vet people coming in, and if they pick up something in between, they're subjected to vetting again. So their risk management in terms of corruption is a little bit better than ours as a South African Police Service. So we might want to learn something from what they do and also adopt the same. So I'm going to invite that perhaps the members assist in terms of reviewing the employment condition of police officers in the legislation. The DPCI legislation was amended to say any member of the Hawks that comes in must go through this process. People like myself, I'm not subjected to that. In a matter of fact, Honorable Chair and Honorable members, majority of us don't even have those security clearance certificates. The reason being, there's manipulation in the police. The people that are controlling this vetting, they will make sure they don't give it to you. For whatever reason, they will hold it back. So you then have the security clearance certificate that valids for 5 years. After 5 years, it expires. You subject yourself for another one, and it takes another 3-4 years before they give you a certificate. By the time they give you a certificate, you're supposed to be going for the third assessment. And so there's no consistency in terms of how we're doing it as a South African Police Service. That's why I'm calling for an independent body somewhere to come and do this vetting in the police, so that we can mitigate the manipulation of the process, and also to include it in the legislation as a part of the employment condition of police officers. On 655, Honorable Chair and members, you'll forgive me on this one, but as I've worked most of my life as part of the operator in the task force, crowd management, as well as in different environments that I work for in the police. When you plan for an operation, you need to identify a risk and put plans in place. You cannot go and target go to a specific target without identifying what risk. There could be a river that takes you there. So we must know how to cross that river. There could be dogs in there. You must know how to neutralize those dogs before you get to your target inside. When you go into a building, you might find a building, there's a lot of, you're looking for drugs inside. There are a lot of pipes in around that building. You don't secure those pipes. They're going to flush everything down the pipe. By the time you get in the building, you get nothing. Those are the risks that you have to put in place, risk management to put in place. We are coming from the old days. I'm not saying that we must copy what is there in the old days, but before the SAPS became a service, it was a force. It was SAP without an S. But the SAP was a government entity that was assisted by the Homeland Security. So we had different policing agencies in the country that were running. All these police agencies merged in 1995, and they formed this, what we are referred to now as South African Police Service. And in merging, all this fragmentation that was there on Homeland, which was allowing some control to some degree to be managed at different areas, be it Northwest, be it Limpopo, be it Eastern Cape, KZN, and so forth. There was some level of control over the law enforcement in those regions. When we merged in 1995, we got rid of that. We put everything together, and then we changed the constitution. We said, one cabinet member is the boss, and one man or woman as a national commission is a boss. And we ended it there. Then we'll say that the provincial commission will be appointed by this one person in charge. So we've put so much powers over one person. The National Commission of the Police has got so much powers in the country. So much powers. That's why there was a plan of removing the National Commissioner now, so they put someone else. Because a person has so much powers, he can launch any case against anyone if he wants to. So to mitigate that, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, we really might need to revisit that section of the Constitution and ask ourselves the question. In 1994, when we came together, the population of the country was not this big. When we came together and we joined these 11 agencies together to form the SAPS, the numbers of the members in the organization were not this big. We have doubled the number. We are close to 200,000 employees. It's the biggest government department that is controlled by one person. Budget is billions of rand allocated to the SAPS. This is an institution that has got a responsibility over the lives of more than 100 million people, because we say in the Constitution, South Africa belongs to all those who live in it. So you count the 68 million South Africans, you count the foreign nationals that are here legally, and those that are illegally in the country. It belongs to all of them. The police must provide safety on them. So when you look at this, it's a responsibility given to one individual. And one way or another, there's going to be cracks. The controls are not going to be intact. A national commissioner comes up almost every 5 years. He arrives in, he comes up with a different strategy, he changes the structure. And the structure gets implemented halfway in his contract. And just before you acclimatize to the new structure, his contract ends, another one comes in. And they start afresh, a restructuring. We've been restructuring, Honorable Chair and members, ever since I could remember. Because there's a new boss, new sheriff in town, he changes the structure, a new sheriff in town changes the structure. So we might want to really look at that section of the Constitution that says we are centralized at the national office to figure out, taking examples from first world countries, how can we come up with a model that is going to allow the national, call it federal if you will, but the national priority crimes or national capacity that is going to have a footprint across the country to deal with specific crimes. And then you allow the provinces to some degree to prosecute certain, investigate and finalize certain cases within their level. And then don't hold the National Commission to be worried about the prosecution of an assault case that happened here at Gugulethu. Because the National Commission must account for this assault at Gugulethu from Pretoria. But you have a provincial commissioner that can take responsibility for that. And the provincial government that is voted by the people in this province that must account on the policing. So you find this gray area. That's why you're going to notice, honorable members, every time we release crime stats, Some provinces have their own crime state release, others don't, because there's no standard set. The other provinces feel that they must take responsibility for policing. The others say policing is a national responsibility, it's not ours. And yet the crime happens in those communities. So it is just my small recommendation. I'm not a member of parliament. I don't have authority over amending the constitution. I felt that maybe I must put this recommendation, controversial or however we can call it, but we were there before. We had Homeland Security, and we won't be the first one in the world to try and decentralize somehow. There are many institutions in different countries that are operating like that. But that is only informed by the risk management because of what I've seen, what's happening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, General, the last topic you have already touched on, and these are allegations pertaining to members of parliament, which you deal with at paragraph 53, and more specifically in relation to Ms. Diane Kohler-Barnard from paragraphs 54 onwards. And it goes through to paragraph 60.3 on page 30.
Yes, sir. Those are the matters that I was referring to, which is why maybe if the honorable members will go to the annexures on the documents and you start reading from NSM